Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, we are going to talk about the rich man who complains. So for those who are already wealthy, this is not going to be an encouraging message for you. It's just not going to be, because you see, God, he's not too pleased with rich men and rich women. And some folks, they say, well, this message wouldn't apply to me because I'm not rich. But it all depends on what you define rich as, because to be honest with you, most of us would be considered rich internationally because we own things that other people in the world don't own. And if they were to come to our homes, they would say, you're rich. You got a TV. I know that's right. She got a car. Oh, look at him. He got a house. But I'm not rich. It doesn't matter. Because when people in their minds see that you have something and it's more than what they have, you are rich. And as far as God is concerned, many individuals are rich. They are rich emotionally, physically, spiritually, but whether they're using their riches for good, well, that's quite another story. In Proverbs 13 verse 7, it says, one man pretends, listen, one man pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. I know some folks who pretend to be poor. They say, oh, she thinks I got something. Oh, she thinks that we got a whole lot of money. She just don't know. Let me tell you, these folks who spent years pretending to be poor, yet they have great wealth, the Lord slowly but surely, he sets things up so that their money is being pulled into all sorts of things. You know, they got to pay for a whole lot of stuff, things that didn't have to break down. Okay. Ends up breaking down a lot sooner, because eventually stuff breaks down, but it's just some things just tend to not work for these people who like to pretend as if they have nothing. Some folks stockpile wealth. Basically, every time money comes in, they got a little account or quite a few accounts with all sorts of connections to this investment and that one. And what they do is they'll take this money, and I'm just allowing the Lord to use me today to share this truth with some of you all. They'll take this money and they will just let it grow and grow and grow. But here's the key point. They let this money grow in such a way where they are taking advantage of the people who they could pay more, could do more for, but won't, because they're greedy. So not only are they rich, but they're greedy. You got hoarders, right? Hoarders of all sorts of products. Okay. Well, there are hoarders when it comes to money. And so to keep from spending their money, they will come up with all sorts of ways to avoid spending as much as they possibly can. Now, the poor person will say something like, I'm just trying to save my money because I know I got to buy this, that, and the other, right? But usually they're emptied out. No, not the rich man, not the rich woman. What they do is they find a way to be able to keep as much wealth to themselves, okay? And even if they spend, they never run out, you see. They never run out because they have strategically set themselves up to receive so much money to the point where running out, I don't know what that is. But a poor man or poor woman is going to spend his or her last. Okay. And the rich, of course, will say, oh, I could never do that. But they don't mind, though, taking your last. You see what I mean? They don't mind figuring out a way to get something from you that they would never give up. Come on, for you. So they are takers. They talk about the poor, right? Taking, but no. The Lord showed me in this spiritual realm that many of these individuals, they are taking from the poor. Okay. And they figure out all sorts of ways to do it, whether it's charging high interest rates, whether it is making sure that they get a significant discount on products and services. Okay. Knowing that people are already struggling, but I just want to make sure I get my deal, my sale, my bargain, what have you. Okay. Even from somebody who's just starting out in business. These people figure out ways to, keep money for themselves while asking everybody else, you think you're going to help out with my child? You think you're going to help out with this program? You think you're going to help out with, this service that I'm doing? You know, they want money, from other folks. They want assets even from other folks that they don't have to pay for. Okay. So they figure out ways to keep money at home, in business, and elsewhere. But the plan though is to never, to never give the poor man a break. Because why would they do that? You see, when they're too busy stockpiling money, coming up with any number of things. Okay. And as far as they're concerned, if I'm giving you $5, then I helped you. If I'm giving you $20, well, you know, I did my part. That type of thing, you see. But meanwhile, the Lord says, no, what about the $200 that you could give? What about the $500 you could give? You see? Oh no, the rich man says, what am I getting out of this? Well, you're getting a blessing. Well, what kind of blessing? You're getting a blessing. It don't have to come in the form of money. Oh, well, if it ain't coming in the form of money, then I'm not giving. You see, this is the type of thing that goes on with some of these wealthy folks. So the Lord is dealing with these people. What goes up comes down. They used to receive so much money in stock markets and other investments and so forth, but slowly but surely that money's being eaten away at, which unfortunately makes some of these people act even worse when it comes to hoarding, when it comes to getting a deal that's a steal. Okay. And some of these rich folks, and I've seen them, they will go so far as to steal products just so that they don't have to pay for them. Okay. Already got riding in cars, got nice homes and stuff, but will go into an establishment and take and walk right out. Okay. Proverbs 14:24 says, the wealth of the wise is their crown, but the folly of fools yields folly. Okay. So you may be one that doesn't have all of what the rich man has. Okay. But you got wisdom. Okay. And so therefore you can walk with your head held up high, even though that rich person's talking about how much of a success they are because they got all this wealth and all of that. And a lot of times it's inherited wealth. It's not wealth that they acquired where it was backbreaking. Some of them, they get it through life insurance. They get it through wills. They get it through trusts. Money's passed down from family members or lands and so forth. Okay. So, the Lord, he knows and he sees, how people like to play on words. I'm a success. No, not necessarily. You may have done so much. Yes, in terms of working, but some folks though, they ended up skyrocketing their wealth because somebody passed away, because somebody gave them something. Okay. So they didn't just get money just from the work of their own hands. The other thing that I want some of you all to be concerned, about is that don't be that one that is shunning your poor neighbors and so forth, your family members and friends, because rich people like to do this sort of thing. The Bible says, Proverbs 14:20, the poor are shunned even by their neighbors. Okay. Because it's bad enough, no telling what happened, the reason why they're poor. It doesn't mean that they were gambling it away, because even though some people do that, but sometimes the poor, they're poor in education. They're poor in opportunities. They're poor due to mental illness. Okay. Personality disorders and so forth. So, shunning people because they don't have what you have. That's why the Lord gives and the Lord takes away for some folks. But the rich have many friends. That's at least what they think. They think that these people that are around them are genuine friends, but many wealthy people who have lost in life will tell you that, no, a lot of times those so-called friends and family members that's so close and all of that, they're only close because of the money, because of the assets, because of the property. And some of you all, you're entertaining folks and you're thinking that they genuinely love and care about you and so forth. But no, it's because you're giving them some things. You're giving them a car, possibly, that they can ride around in, or you may have bought them some very expensive gifts and so forth. But the day that you tell them no, just watch. Just watch, sit back and just watch for a while, and you'll see the truth for what it really is. And it's going to hurt some of you all because you thought all these years so-and-so loved you. No, they just loved your house. They loved your car. They loved the gifts that you gave them each and every year. But you'll see, you got to test the spirits. You've got to test the spirits. And unfortunately, the rich man, the rich woman who complains, right? Oh, I got to give this, I got to give that. A lot of times these individuals, when they're doing all of this complaining, God handles them like he did with the Israelites coming out of Egypt. Oh, over time, I'm telling you, some things happen with some individuals. Okay. You can't afford to be complaining. You can't afford to be complaining about the material wealth you already have, the material wealth you stand to gain. You can't afford to be sitting around here talking about what you don't have when you know you really do have. Okay. You just can't afford to do that, because eventually what happens is that there's a lesson that occurs, and somebody ends up losing a job. Somebody else ends up becoming very sick where they can't work anymore. Someone else ends up losing a lot of money in an investment. Someone else ends up getting stuff stolen. Other people end up getting ripped off. Okay. They get themselves mixed up with all sorts of projects. And so the Lord will step aside and let the enemy have his way on these greedy, ungrateful types of individuals. Proverbs 15:27 says, a greedy man brings trouble. Okay. A greedy man brings trouble to his family. It doesn't matter if you have children or not. If you are a greedy man, you're bringing trouble to your family, to your wife, to your extended relatives and so forth. I gotta get, I don't have enough. I gotta buy more and all of that. Okay. But he who hates bribes will live. So you have some people that will even go so far as to bribe individuals just to get more. Okay. They come up with all sorts of schemes to do this sort of thing. I'll give you, if you are able to go over there and get me some more land, get me some more money, get me this, get me that. Okay. Sometimes it might be just buying some stuff at a store. You know, they know somebody that works there. Okay, look, there's a sale on XYZ items. Can you put this, this many items aside for me? Then the rich man goes, takes those items and sells them for even more over the internet and elsewhere. Okay. Yes, I'm exposing somebody's hustle. Okay. And when they do this sort of thing, once again, the Lord sees, because those items that were on sale were items that the poor could have afforded to get. But now that so many rich people have bought them up and they sell them on the internet for higher prices, okay, it makes it hard for the people to be able to get it at the price point that they can afford. And so when you get yourself mixed up in some things, don't think that God is not watching, because he is. That's why it pays just to be honest, be fair, just do what's right. The Lord will even speak to me if there's something that I know I don't really need, and it's maybe the last one on the shelf, or maybe there's only 2 or 3. The Lord's like, you don't really need that. But I'm thinking it's a good deal. It's a great price. The Lord's like, you don't really need that. And somebody is going to come behind you and they're going to need that. And so I'm like, oh, okay. Because remember, he knows the future. So I will leave the item. I will walk away from it. Okay. Sometimes some of you all, you may not hear, in the spiritual realm, God speaking like that, but you can feel that, you don't really need it. Don't stand there in the aisle battling about it. Even if maybe 2 weeks from now you might need it. The point is that there's somebody that needs that item more than you do. Okay. And you can always ask, the clerk, is there any more of these items, back in the back? That way you won't feel bad. You see, if you do, get it and you really don't need it right now. So I'm telling you, God is going to speak to some of these individuals listening to this message sooner or later, because you have gotten to a place where you've gotten so content and so satisfied with where you are right now, to the point where you feel like you don't have to give. You don't have to give anything. And you can go ahead and keep pretending as if you don't have, keeping certain people away. And I understand that that's what that's about for some folks, but other people, they're just pretending for the sake of pretending, because they're hoarding money, because they're putting money up, because they're afraid to give. Okay. They don't even want to draw near to the Lord, because they know at some point the Lord is going to move on their spirit to give, and they don't want to give. Not what God wants. Oh, they'll give 20 and feel comfortable about that. But when God says something like 250, they say, what? You see, but you already got thousands of dollars in this account and that one. What's wrong with giving up that money? And they come up with all sorts of excuses. But I'm telling you that this sort of thing, God's not going to keep tolerating from some of these folks who call themselves successful, right? Wealthy, rich, well-to-do. Some of these other individuals that like to pretend as if they are rich, okay? What they like to do is get around in certain circles, and they will max out credit cards and everything just to fit in with some people. Okay. They will have name brand items. We're not talking about fake stuff, okay, with a name brand on it. We're talking about real stuff, but they go into so much debt because they're trying to keep up with the group that they're running with, because they keep hoping and wishing and praying that that group, that rich, wealthy group, is going to do something for them. That's why they do this sort of thing. They go to great lengths. Other people do this because they want a top notch, dare we say it, a top notch partner, you know, so they will just present themselves to be something that they're really not. Okay, they will study the rich folks. They will talk the way the rich folks are. They will hang out where the rich people are because they want to be able to experience the rich lifestyle, only to be disappointed later because it takes a lot to stay up on all of what the rich do. Okay, especially the trendsetters. And when you don't have enough money, patience, and time, you're going to fall off the wagon sooner or later. That's why you don't get yourself bound. Once again, this is YouTube Enterprise 7. And what we do is we remind people not to be bound into situations, okay? Especially those that are going to keep you away from the Lord. And when you're chasing after the rich and you want the richest lifestyle and so forth, you are putting yourself mentally, physically, as well as spiritually enslaved. Because at some point you are going to be a slave to the rich. When they discover that you're really not who you say you are going to become their slave. Okay. I know some people don't want to hear that. Well, I'm just going to keep on acting as long as I can. And hopefully that opportunity will come. And the opportunity comes and it goes. And then once you get a taste of it, then you want more and you want more. And you become like a crack fiend, you know, wanting another hit from the rich. And like I said, sooner or later, it's all going to bottom out. It's not worth it. It really isn't. I know individuals who got really close to folks who they figured had a bunch of money, right? Saved up. So they actually did become slaves to them. In other words, or servants. And we're not talking about servants in a Jesus kind of way. We're talking about servants, in a way where their eyes are on the prize. If I keep coming over here to this senior citizen and doing all of these things for her, then maybe one day she's going to come out of pocket and do for me, which when God knows that your heart is like that, He makes sure that you don't get. Okay. Another individual, once again, befriending all of the elderly, with the intention of getting something from them. But when daughters and sons sniff, okay, when they sniff that somebody wants a little something, okay, from their mother or father, they set it up so that, everything is on lock. So those little keepsakes and jewelry and whatever else that person had their sights set on, gradually that stuff starts leaving the household. Okay. Because they can sniff when somebody's after their mother or father for, wealth, not because they're so sweet and so nice, but because of what they have. And I'm telling you that some of you you may have some folks around you, and you don't have to be a senior citizen. You just got some folks around you that they see that car that you drive. They see that nice house. They see that you're connected to some wealth. And so they're going to keep you around. Okay. But, I tell you that God, He sees it all. And some of these folks who are connected with folks for all the wrong reasons, well, it all shows up in the end, doesn't it? Some of you you got to witness this sort of thing. I knew she was after his money. I knew it. I knew it was nothing but him wanting to get close to her because he knew my mother had all of this wealth. I knew my mother couldn't pull a brother like that, you see. Because sometimes, you know, these situations happen, especially with age gap relationships where there is the young college student who's very beautiful, right, and smart and savvy and so forth, with this older man who, you know, is receiving a government check in addition to having a bunch of money from over the years that he acquired from investments. And what does she want with him, you see? Or what does he want from her, which we usually know what it all is in the end, right? So this is around, and the Lord is not blind. He sees, and that is why some folks, their coattails are being pulled today. Okay. Now, once again, I'm in Proverbs. Proverbs 18:11 says, "The wealth of the rich is their fortified city. They imagine it an unscalable wall." Okay. So they believe that because they're acquiring so much wealth, okay, that nobody can touch them. They have so much around them. You know, they have the security. They have possibly a wall around their homes. They got so much going on for them that, they figured out nobody can get in. And then when somebody does break in, they're shocked. They're stunned. They can't believe it. So-and-so got next to me. This group was able to take my items, right? You're not untouchable. That's the thing. But some of them will talk like they, aren't. Okay. My study Bible says, in imagining that their wealth is their strongest defense, rich people are sadly mistaken. Money cannot provide safety. There are too many ways for it to lose its power. The government may cease to back it. Thieves may steal it. Inflation may rob it of all value. But God never loses his power. Okay? Somebody hear that. But God never loses his power. He is always dependable. Where do you look for security and safety? This is a question for some of you all. Where do you look for security and safety? Uncertain wealth or God, who is always faithful? Right? Some people are looking toward wealth. Wealth, that's uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. Okay? So it pays to do what? To look to God. Always look to him who's faithful. And some people, they'll say, well, yes, I am. That's what I'm doing. I mean, I don't need to listen to this message. Well, see, the problem is that for some people, they're continuing to be rebellious in the process of drawing near to the Lord. Yes, they got all these wonderful things going on for them. They got some money and all that, but they are not drawing near to the Lord because during tough times, they are always going back to their wealth. What can their wealth do for them? Who do I know? What can I sell? What can I buy? It all comes back to what they can do with their own hands. And God is trying to get some folks up out of that mindset. He wants them to be rich in wisdom because he knows that around the corner, he knows our future. Around the corner, folks going to lose their job. See, here's another thing that I keep coming across with some people is that there is a period of humbling, right? That takes place where things get taken away, things are broken or stolen or whatever, okay? Jobs are taken away, just a lot of stuff goes on, right? So there's a period of being humbled during all of the loss, okay? But then on that slow rise back up again, that's where the pride shows up. And that's when people want to, look down on other folks and talk about what they got and how they own this and own that. And this is my money and my house and my car and all that. And so the Lord, soon as they start talking like that, that's when the very things that they thought would give them peace, the things that they thought would make them feel better, ends up becoming nothing more than a burden again. And then eventually the Lord, right, he gave and now he's going to take away. So until you learn a lesson, right? Some of you are, this is really resonating with you because you don't quite understand why is it that God keeps taking things from you. The reason being is because you're not learning the lessons. You're not staying in that place of being humbled. You keep going down that path of pride again. And some of you all, you can't help yourselves because unfortunately you attended churches where this sort of thing was promoted. Okay. Pride in your assets, pride in the blessings, pride in walking around, like a peacock in your nice little outfits and so forth. You've spent so much time focused on your flesh, that carnality, and not enough time in spirituality. Okay. So for some people, the only way they're going to really get this is they got to keep losing and keep losing and keep losing to the point where there is no opportunity for a long period of time. And some folks are in drought seasons right now. Get that pride under control. Stop walking around here that every time you get a win, you want to go and tell somebody about your win. Every time, some great opportunity shows up, you want to start spending your money on everybody and everything to show off, not really to help folks, but to show off, to feel good emotionally. Oh, I did this for so-and-so, to go back and tell people how you're such a good person. Some people, they get all of this stuff just so that they can say, I'm back on top again. Hey, yeah, I'll buy you something for your birthday. Yeah, I'll buy your little baby something. Yes, I'll help your daughter through college. Yes, honey. Yes, come to auntie so-and-so. Come to uncle so-and-so, right? And the Lord sees this. And so he gives and then he takes away. Because you're not doing it in a good place. Oh, yes, I am. No, you're not. Because if you got to put on airs, put on fronts, let everybody know what you got, walk around, show off, okay? Some folks will deny. Oh, they will deny over and over again that that's not what they're doing. But that is what they're doing. And if you interview some of the folks around them, they will say, maybe not to their face, but they'll say behind their backs, yeah, there she go again. She thinks she all that. Got that little Louis Vuitton bag. Girl, please. Okay. And you got some of the other ones that in the family and so forth, that'll say, yes, here he go again, buying another car. But he could be using that money to help some folks. But, well, he did help a few people, I guess. But he always got to talk about all of what he did for people. You see, these are the kind of conversations that they have while they smile at the family functions, while they're on the phone talking to you about ways you can do or help them out, ways that you can save your money. Now, here's another thing, and I'm going to close this message out. The rich complaining, right, about any number of things. They will do this sort of thing even with poor folks. OK, it's not just about complaining amongst their own, okay, that are also successes like them, but it's also complaining to the poor. And a person who has a poor mentality, a person who is used to not having much, getting advice from that type of person is not a wise thing, in the sense that they haven't experienced what you have experienced. They haven't achieved what you have achieved. So they're looking at it from a when they're giving you advice, they're thinking of it from a survival mindset. I'm just trying to make it. I'm living paycheck to paycheck, you see. But the rich person, they will take some of their advice, but this is what they'll do with it. They'll figure out ways to keep more money to themselves. So let's say that you're the mother, right? And you've gone through divorces, you've been sick, you've had your share of ups and downs. And there's been times where you didn't have money, so you had to, sign up for welfare programs or what have you. OK, and so this rich person who already got, mind you, is talking to you and complaining about all of what he's spending his money on. And he got bills and, oh, it costs so much. So what is that woman going to do? She's going to sit up there and talk about, well, there were times where I had to, clip out some coupons. I signed up for the welfare program. I sold extra items, matter of fact, this is what you should do. You should cut back. Wait a minute now. Listen, you should cut back on some things, so that you can be able to have some more money. You shouldn't talk like that to no rich man who already got. Because he's leaning on you for this type of support so that he don't have to spend. When God is telling him you need to do more for your family, okay, you need to step it up, and he got some money, and you come giving him that type of advice, he will actually stop. He will stop buying all of what he's supposed to buy. Come on now. But he going to make it seem like it's a burden. He going to make it seem like it's a stress. He's going to make it seem like it's bigger than what it is. But you not being in the know, you giving him some advice, okay, from a poor place, from a place of survival and so forth. And he's taking that and he's saying, yep, good. I'm going to use this so that he can stockpile more money for himself. He already got issues. Let me tell you, a lot of millionaires are some of the most stingiest folks. Okay. They are very, oh, Jesus. They are the type of individuals that know how to keep a lot for themselves. And the only time when they're really giving money out is towards things that are going to make more money or give them opportunity or a place to shine. OK, they don't like to give to organizations and so forth that don't make them feel a certain kind of way. They don't like to give to individuals that are not going to basically, as one person told me years back, kiss their behind. OK. derogatory sounding, but I know offensive, but this is the type of stuff that goes on with some of these people. And so you who've been there, done it, seen the movie, you know, in terms of being poor and broke, busted and disgusted, and you giving somebody some advice who's already wealthy, they're not going to use it to take some of their wealth to continue to help or even up their giving, but they're going to use it to say, this is good information. I'm going to stockpile some more. I'm going to make sure these folks don't get anything because I'm not going to keep putting this money out. Okay. That's why if you know somebody is already wealthy, don't give them any advice on their money. Don't give them any advice. Well, but they're wasting and they're doing this and that. Unless God moves upon your spirit to give them some advice, don't. Because remember now, the rich is about a lot of them, not all, because I know some people are wealthy on my channel. God bless you. But a lot of them are about taking. How can I get more from some folks? We got poor folks who take too. We got poor folks who get out here and figure out all sorts of ways to hustle the rich. Okay. I knew a relative who they said was like Robin Hood. Okay. He would take from the rich and give to the poor. Okay. And we're not talking about legally. So here's the thing. When you know that these individuals are around you, whether they're, you know, takers or givers, the point is that go to the Lord and pray about them. Yes, I'm going to turn this into a spiritual message. Okay. Pray. Ask the Lord to guide you in terms of what to say, how to say it, when to say it, guide you to the necessary resources that's going to help you as well as help those, because sometimes when you do help a wealthy person who is righteous, they will in turn bless you, you see. But when you are helping a person who even God says, I don't want you talking to, but you go ahead and do it, then you get taken advantage of. Okay, you become that slave to the rich, because why are you doing it anyway? Or is it for the right motives or not? You see, right motives being God is moving you to do it, or wrong motives and I got selfish interests, honey, and it's about gain for me. It's about fortune, fame. It's about all that, baby. Okay. Whoa. Right. So I hope that this message is one of those that validates some of you all on some of this stuff that you notice concerning the rich folks and how they're doing things to you, you know, that's unrighteous and, you know, bias and whatever else you want to call it. I'm praying in Jesus' name that the Lord will deal with those individuals who's taking advantage. Okay. And I pray in Jesus' mighty name that the Lord will bless the poor as well as the rich, but in a way where it's wisdom. Not so much material wealth, but wisdom involved. Because if you are unwise and you got a lot of money or little money, chances are, whether you're on the side of rich or on the side of poor, you're going to be taken advantage of sooner or later by someone. Because there's plenty of people that got money who's wise, but they don't know what to do with their money in a righteous way. Then you got poor people who are unwise and they don't know what to do with what little money they have. Okay. And then there are those that like to take people for granted. And so they see the rich and they see the poor and they say, okay, you know what? I don't like neither one of them because I don't have what I want in life. And so this is what it is. Okay. So blessings to those of you all who listen to this message. Please do check the description box for anything that might be of interest. You've been listening to YouTube NM Enterprise 7. Subscribe today. And also, if you haven't given, we do welcome donations. Blessings to you.